we're gonna make Barbie's dress for Luna Lapin to wear. My name is Cassie and you are watching Cassie Sews, where we are mastering home sewing one stitch at a time. So I'm glad you guys could tune in today. We are talking about the Barbie craze. You guys know that the Barbie movie is in the theaters, and so the inspiration is just everywhere right now. And I do see the inspiration online that people are making pink and white gingham dresses inspired by Barbie, as close to the make of the Barbie dress as they can, all these different things, right? Now, you know I just finished making a blue gingham dress, so I'm not gonna make a second dress for myself, but here's what I am gonna do. You guys know that I have the Luna Lapin series that I've been working on and off for a while now as well. And so I decided we're gonna make Barbie's dress for Luna Lapin to wear instead, because it's a smaller project and it's just gonna be so cute. It's gonna be adorable. What I decided is this was the easiest dress to duplicate to make a Barbie dress for Luna Lapin. The reason why is the pink and white gingham dress in the movie does have tulle underneath it to give it that lift, and it's like a crinoline, right? And so my thinking was, since this pattern in the book is already working with tulle, it made sense to me that it's like, well, then that should be the easiest way to assemble this. So what we're gonna do, hey, if you're enjoying this content, hit the like and subscribe button down below and you will not miss another Luna upload to come. Thanks, guys. Is I'm going to use this pink and white, see it's seersucker? This pink and white seersucker gingham fabric. I have it in my stash to make a summer top, but I definitely have some extra, so we're gonna use this. Now, what I'm gonna do is, the dress here shows you to have a fabric top and then a tulle skirt on the bottom, but I'm gonna use the pink seersucker both on the top and the bottom, and we're gonna have this stiff, more crinoline-like netting underneath to give the skirt that lift that we want it to have. Now, the Clementine's Dreamy dress also has the ribbon, right? Remember the ribbon here? So, to go with the pink and white gingham, I do have, I don't know if you can see it through the wrapper there. I think you can. It's just some basic grosgrain ribbon in white. It seems to me the most sensible thing to match up with the dress. So we're gonna put that around the waistband of Luna's dress and tie it in a bow. It's gonna give a nice color contrast and pull the whole outfit together. The dress does call for lining fabric as well, but it's really just to line the upper body. So I'm just using the same fabric as a self-lining fabric, and no interfacing or anything. The only other thing you need, of course, is thread, and then the pattern does call for some closures at the back, kind of like snaps, but I have some Velcro in the house. I'm gonna use Velcro instead, simply because I think just the on-off when you're dressing and undressing the doll, it's just way faster and easier, so that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna cut out the dress and get it sewn, and let's put it onto Luna. All right, I wanted to show you where we're at next. If you recall, this fabric is almost 60 inches wide. What I've done here is I folded the fabric in half, and then I folded the fabric in half again. That is selvage edges to selvage edges, and then I have matched up the fold of the fabric to the selvage edge as well. So now you can see we have a measure of fabric laid out. Now the next thing we need to do is straighten this off. Here's how I do this. So I'm just gonna pull this fabric so that I use the lines on my cutting table here, and so I can see, you know, where when I have these things lined up, it actually, this fabric is crooked by that much over here. So you can watch this. Get a long ruler, or this This is probably my favorite ruler. It is by OmniGrid. I will put a link down below if you want to get something similar. There's lots of great rulers to choose from on Amazon. Once again, I may get a small credit to my store if you make a purchase. Even if you don't buy this one and you choose something else, click on a link to my store first and my store will get a credit. Thanks guys for that support. And if you need to or want to buy this book, we are working from this book here. Sewing Luna Lapin's Friends, over 20 sewing patterns for heirloom dolls and their exquisite handmade clothing. You can see this little group of friends. They really are great. I have 4 of the dolls made. If you're wanting this book, so you can do the projects too, the link will be down below. So now, whether you use a long ruler like this or this, in this instance, because I happen to own a very long ruler and it goes the length of my folded fabric, I'm going to use this. Get your rotary cutter. Now, I have this so that where that fabric is off, see that here, right? That's just lined up with this blue line here. In fact, I'm going to pull it just a little further. So what you want to do is basically try and make sure your fabric looks straight, that you have it folded straight. Then you're going to take your ruler, you're going to lay it down. Actually, I'm going to turn it this way. And then what I do is I simply look at the blue lines on my cutting mat here. I have to stand up to do this part, and open your cutting blade. And I'll just run it one more time to make sure there's no little threads. And there, so this is garbage. Just throw that out. Now, I'm not gonna move my fabric. You can see I have like a super straight edge here. So from here, now we're gonna count 6.5 inches, and then we're gonna make the cut. This is where your bigger ruler can come in handy. So this ruler is 6 inches wide by 12 inches. So to just lay it down like this, unfortunately, is not quite enough. So we do have to turn it this way. Close your rotary cutter when you're not using it. It's safer. All right. So what I do is I simply line it up. I find my 6 inches first, and then I move it over so that this is lined up. The little marker lines on the ruler are at that 6.5 mark. And then from here, once again, guys, we're just gonna go a little at a time. So I have to stand up to do my cutting. Okay, close your thing. And look at, there we go. Now we have our skirt for Luna Lapin. This big long piece is going to be Luna Lapin's skirt. So basically it's going to get all gathered. Can you see already how sweet this is going to be? And then we'll get the tulle underneath it. And this is going to be such a cute skirt. We need about 12.5 finished inches of this gathered stuff. If it ultimately ends up being too long, we'll just cut it shorter. And now we have, so I'm going to just fold that up to put away. Okay, so there's the skirt part. Now the only other fabric cutting out that there is for this tiny little project, oh, we do have to cut out tulle like that too, but I mean from the fabric, is these pieces here. You can see now I have the little bodice shirt place one on fold pinned down, and then the bodice back. We're going to have to do this a second time, guys, because we need it for the lining too. So we do have enough. We'll just do the whole thing a second time here. And I'm just making sure that the lines are fairly straight down the middle of the back here, because these parts I think are angled to fit the body. So from here, I have my magnetic pin dish. And if you guys recall, I've really grown to love this thing. I will put a link down below for that as well, in case you want to get one too. So there it is, pinned up once. It's such a tiny project. I'm going to use my little Gingham scissors. These are little 4-inch shears, all 100% stainless steel scissors. So you can basically get this same model. If I can find a link, I'll also put that down below for you. I'm gonna try and cut this out for you from an upside down position. All we have left to do to pre-cut is the tulle to go underneath the skirt. So that's gonna get cut in the same dimensions as this times 2. So we're gonna do 2 strips that are 6.5 inches tall by 59 or however many wide my tulle is. And then like really the only other cutting is the ribbon, like the grosgrain ribbon stuff. And I would not even open that package until I'm to that point on the dress. It's nothing to pre-cut. So that's what we're gonna do next. I just want to share with everyone here, I have the skirt to this vase. You can see it stands up by itself. It's just gathered and pinned so far. It needs to be about 12 or 12.25 inches. Like you just need to have enough to close the back, really. But I'm not actually going to stitch it all together until we assemble this and I have the finished size of that to make sure it all goes together, that I'm doing it correctly. But you can see how already it's going to be so cute. When we're assembling the bodice, I'm skipping the step of putting the ribbon on the front like the dress has here. Like we're not doing that part, but I'm probably going to add the sash. Okay, so the next steps are for both the lining pieces and the outer pieces, we're going to stitch the shoulders and the back together on both the lining and the front and then press them open. So that's what we're doing next. Now that the fronts and backs have the shoulder seams attached to each other, it's time to attach the inner and outer fabrics together. This is a self-lined dress, so it's the same fabric for the lining and the outer fabric, but basically put these together, right sides together, matching up the shoulder seams. Then you're going to pin around the neckline and the center back seams on each side. You're going to stitch the same areas that you see that I have pinned here, and then we're going to clip the curves and turn that and press it out. We've got this all stitched along here and the neck is clipped. Leave it inside out. Your next step is you're going to match up the outer part of the shoulder seams here and your sides, and you're going to stitch here on both sides. That's the next step. Now the little top is sewn around the neckline where we clipped the curves and we've stitched the armholes. The directions say next to clip the armholes a little bit so they'll lay flat as well when we turn it. And then we're going to turn it right side out from the shoulder pieces pulled through the body. So that's what we're going to do next. Here we go. Now we're going to turn it right side out. We are going to push or pull this piece through there. Now here's another cool tool that I have. You see, they're just a pair of tongs, basically. They do have a little locking mechanism here at the bottom. Hear that? It clicks into place. You can squeeze on it and sort of like pull it apart to release it. So anyways, these I find are very handy if there's enough reach with the tool for turning stuff right side out. So that's what I'm going to try here is I'm going to reach in through the bodice And I'm going up here and I'm going to just tuck part of the shirt here onto the tongue. You see that? So it's holding a piece of the fabric. And now I'm just gently pulling. Very gentle. Now that I have that much through, I let it go and pull because I don't want to shred any of the edges of the fabric, right? Okay. This is where it's getting a little bit stiff. So we want to go slowly. Oh, look, there, a whole bunch of it just came out. And there we go. Look at that. You can also use this. It's not totally sharp, but it doesn't do a half bad job of pushing out corners, such as this here. Now look at this. There's the little dress back, one side. And here's one half of the front, right? Let's turn the other side now. And we did it. Okay. I'm going to take that same tool once again and just push out that corner. It's not pressed yet, obviously, but here is Luna's little dress top. Here's the back of that top. So I'm going to press this out, and our next steps is the side seams. Now check this out. So we have the bodice. There's the front and the back. It's been stitched and turned and pressed, maybe pressed to death. It's not very seersuckery looking at the moment. Hopefully that'll relax a little bit. But anyways, now watch how brilliant this is, how we finish off this little tank top bodice. What you're going to do here now is you're going to open up the back like that, and the front like that, right? So you have a front and back of the same side. You're actually going to bring these together at the underarm seam and match it up to the bottom. You're going to open it up and do the other side just like that. And we'll pin the same side the other way, and then we're going to stitch both sides and turn it out. All right, everyone, here's the update. So here's the top. It's fully turned out and pressed. You can see the little side seams are done. And the back, there's the other side seam. And then you can see the back opens up. So you can see it is a self-lined gingham fabric seersucker top. And here's the skirt. Now here's what I've discovered. So here you can picture how this is going to come together. Isn't that going to be the cutest little dress, right? But this is, the skirt part is longer. Let me show you you can see how if we like pin this around the skirt, watch. You're going to end up with like an inch worth of fabric over there. And you know, again, this is just like finger pressing, but then over here, we're ending up with like another 1.5 inches of fabric. But here's the thing. If you look at this skirt, it's like really, really full already. So I mean, I think the directions when it was calling for this 59-inch wide fabric, I do think that maybe a softer tool they had in mind than what we're doing to replicate the puffiness of Barbie's dress, right? So basically, guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pin the bodice onto the skirt, but whatever extra space is at the back, I'll leave the room for stitching it closed, and that's it. I'm not gonna gather this further to make it fit more. I think it would look too bulky. So I'm stopping it where I am, and we're going to attach the top and the bottom together, and this is just gonna be the cutest little dress. Sometimes making videos, it's a little difficult to bring you through the whole process because some of these steps are hard to show, but I'm trying here, right? So I have the bodice pinned to the dress, just the outer layer, because the lining is going to get whip stitched closed. But remember I said that it was really too full to gather any further, and it ended up being too much fabric. So what I've done is I have pinned where my fold line is going to be. Now I'm going to cut the fabric on this side, serge it and press it just like I did for the hem at the bottom. I'm going to do that on this side and that side, and then I'm ready to attach this all the way. Once we have that all attached like that, this lining is the self-lining fabric, right? We're gonna, whip stitch it down like that. I think you get the idea. So that's what's happening next. Alright guys, I wanted to show you how this is coming together. It is very cute. What we have left to do here on the dress, Luna, what we have left to do here on the dress is actually quite simple. So from here you can see the skirt's attached. I think I'm going to run a second line of stitching to reinforce it, and then I am actually going to cut that down by a little to reduce bulk. And then we simply are going to fold under some seam allowance, and like this, we are going to whip stitch down the inside lining. From there, we have to stitch close the back of the dress to about there. Well, we're going to add some ribbon first and then the closures. It really is almost done. Now you can see that what I have done here is I have trimmed down the tulle. I left the fabric seam allowance in place, kind of like a just in case I need to pull it apart for some specific reason. I don't know. Anyways, hopefully you guys can see this a little better now from this angle. So you see we have the dress attached. All that we have to do now is attach the lining to the dress. So we're simply folding this up, pinning it into place like that, and we're going to whip stitch it closed all the way around. There it is, guys. Everything is just whip stitched down, just some basic hand stitching, but now you can see that's the inside of the dress. Here's the outside. Just a couple of steps left to go. Next thing that we're going to do is we are going to add some grosgrain ribbon to the front. I think that Luna's dress could use the variety, plus the ties at the back will help fasten the dress, right, and hold it secure. So I have cut 1 meter of ribbon as per the directions, and I'll just show you guys here, like when you lay it out across the dress, to leave enough to tie a bow at the back. Like when I have it centered, you end up with about this much. So I am across the body gonna fold this ribbon in half to stitch it down like this. See that? To give a finer, more delicate look to the dress. But then at the back where we tie it, I'm gonna leave the sash full, not folded. I will show you next. I have pinned where basically the center of the front of the dress is. What I have done, I stitched the ends of the ties and I've marked out the center point on the ribbon. So now we're going to attach this around here and fold it down to stitch only where it lines up. So that then the ties at the back of the dress are the full size of the ribbon for tying up. Let's do that next. Show you guys where this sweet little dress is at. There's the inside and now there is the outside. You can see we have the grosgrain ribbon folded in half and just machine stitched down. You can see it does create a beautiful contrast at the front of the dress. It pulls together the tulle that's underneath. It does have a real, like, you know, what do you call it, 1950s or 60s inspired look to it, right? All that is left to do on this dress is two things. One of them is we hemmed the end of the dresses just about an inch down. So from here to here, we're actually going to stitch the dress closed, so the doll has to like climb inside of it, so to speak, right, to get it on. And then we just put on some Velcro to close it or some snaps. And this is completely ready to be showcased and worn. So exciting. It has actually turned out super, super cute. This is all we have left. It's literally the closing step on this is I am stitching Velcro down that will close it up, and then it will close with the tie. And you can see the Velcro goes from the waistband basically to the top of the dress. So for a dolly, I don't think we're even going to need a snap closure. I think the Velcro is going to do it. Let's get it done. And here it is, guys. I'm so not camera ready right now. I've, you know, washed hair that's just air dried. So this is why I'm staying off the camera. But here is the finished dress. Here it is. Look how beautiful. We have the Velcro closure at the back and the ties. Everything has been whip stitched close inside, right? You can see here's an inside out view of the dress as well. We've closed the back of the skirt there. So now Luna steps inside of it. So let's get her dressed, shall we? If I decide these ties at the back are too long, then I will shorten them. But at this moment, yeah, they're too long. They can't hang below the dress. So we are gonna shorten the ties. But aside from that, here she is all dressed in that beautiful little dress. We are gonna take some proper showcase footage of Luna in her Barbie dress. thank you for joining me today for the making of the Barbie dress for Luna Lapin. I think it turned out really good. I'm happy with the results. I'd love to hear from you. Please post a comment down below if you have made a Barbie dress or a Barbie inspired anything since the movie came out. Well, that's all there is for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time with your needle and thread right here at Cassie Sews. Take care, guys. Bye.